Everybody, this is T Gray. I'm so excited to be doing the first video ever from my office upstairs. I've been doing videos outside. I've been doing videos in the car. I've been doing videos downstairs in the living room and all over the different parts of the house, but this is the first time setting up to do a video in my actual office upstairs. And another first is I'm trying out a new YouTube software from Google called YouTube Capture. So we'll see how this video turns out. So here's the topic for this particular talk with T Gray. And this topic is conflict resolution, right? Because, you know, as long as we are people and we have to deal with other people, we're going to have circumstances where we disagree. And we're going to have circumstances where we don't necessarily disagree in the most agreeable way. I remember coaches and mentors used to try to teach me to disagree without being disagreeable. And sometimes that's easier said than done for us and for other people. And so we're going to always have conflict. But the real question is, how are you going to resolve conflict? So this video is 5 steps to resolve conflict. Okay. So I had a situation this week where I had conflict and I had to try to work through it with a particular individual that I actually have a lot of respect for. And we wanted to see how we could, fix things. And so these are the 5 steps that I followed. And I should even say we followed because I'm pretty sure this individual did the same thing. And we were able to get to a positive resolution where we can continue to have a good relationship going forward. So the first thing that you got to do is calm down, right? Because we get all angry, we get all hot and just really ready to blow up. And I got to tell you what, guys, I personally was, apoplectic, right? Look that one up. Apoplectic. That means about to burst a blood vessel. I was losing it, guys. I was hot, right? And so the first thing you got to do is you got to calm down, because you know what? Nothing good is going to get accomplished when you are in that hot state. So it's not even good to try to talk about it or even address it sometimes, because all you're going to do is just react in a real emotional way. And, I learned a long time ago that emotions and logic are like 2 kids on a seesaw, right? So, when emotion goes up, logic goes down. So that means that the more emotional we get, sometimes the dumber we get. And so if you're feeling pretty hot, the first thing you want to do is you want to calm down. The second thing you want to do is you want to go into self-reflection. And this is so hard, right? To stop and think about yourself in terms of, okay, what did I do in this situation? Like, how did I react? Did I react well or did I react badly? Or if you are the one who caused the situation, is that something I should have done or is that something I should not have done? Could I have done that differently? Could I have said that thing differently? It's always good. It'll always take some of the edge off the situation if you go into self-reflection. And self-reflection requires a lot of maturity, because we always want to think it's always the other person, right? It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, and it's never me, me, me. But remember what they taught us: when you have one finger pointed out, you got how many pointed back at you? Well, in this case, 3, right? But you guys get the idea, right? So you got to go into self-reflection, evaluate yourself, at least know where you stand, right? Because you know what? I found that in all these situations, even when you're right, very rarely are we 100% clean, right? We still typically carry some sort of culpability or blame in the situation, even when we're the one who's right. Okay, number 3, consult with people that you respect and who will tell you the truth, right? Because a lot of times what happens is we talk to our boys or we talk to our girls, we talk to, the folks who are going to be on our side. And they're like, yeah, right? But you got to talk to the folks that you really respect who are going to tell you the truth. People who are not afraid to stand up to you and say, hey, you know what? You are a little bit wrong in this situation too. Or you're a lot wrong in this situation. Or you're out of your skull. You're out of your damn mind. What's wrong with you? You got to go fix that. So you need people in your life who will tell you the truth. If everybody in your life always agrees with you, then you know what? You guys aren't all necessary. It says iron sharpens iron. You need some people who are going to rub against you and make you sharper. And you know what? That process of sharpening isn't always fun. It very often is painful. But guess what? You end up sharper. Okay? So, number 4. Now it's time to dialogue with the person. Okay, you got to dialogue with the person. And I specifically use the word dialogue because it's got to be a two-way conversation, right? It can't be all you, can't be all them. We like to tend to dominate conversations. I know I like to talk a lot. And when I'm arguing with my wife, she typically tells me, hey, man, you got to let me get a word in. And when she's arguing with me, I'll typically tell her, hey, man, you got to let me get a word in. So we got to make sure it's a dialogue. And when the other person is explaining their position, here's what you need to do. Listen, right? Stop talking. Listen, like really try to listen to what they're saying and where they're coming from. Really try to feel them. Take notes if you have to. And that will be a good way to get things done. And the fifth thing that you want to do is you want to come to some sort of an agreement, okay? Too many times what we do is we let the argument keep going because we're trying to win, right? And winning typically means that we are all the way right and the other person is all the way wrong and they admit it. Well, I'll tell you what, if you get that far, typically you may win that battle, but you will have most certainly lost the war. So focus on what you really want. Like, you got to ask yourself, what do I really want here? Do I really want to maintain this friendship? Do I really want to maintain this working relationship? How do I want this to go? Do I really want to keep this marriage going? Do I still want this person to be my friend? And so if that's what you really want, then you can't possibly beat them into the ground so that you beat them into submission and because they won't, you lose a relationship in the process. So I'm not saying that you need to absorb things that you don't need to absorb, but sometimes you have to just be a little bit gracious and just, kind of let some things go. You don't have to win all the points right now. You just want to make sure that you establish a good ground to move forward. So those were the 5 steps to conflict resolution. Number 1, calm down. Number 2, self-reflect. Number 3, consult with people that you respect and who are going to tell you the truth about you. Step 4 is to now dialogue with that person. And step 5 is to come to some sort of agreement. But remember, focus on what you really, really want. Don't try to win the whole thing. All right, guys, that's been a talk with T. Gray. I'm glad my situation worked out well. I hope these 5 points help you to work out your situations well, because you know what? In the immortal words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along? This has been a talk with T. Gray.